There was a time when walking around the block felt easy, but maybe now, every step feels heavier. Your knees ache more than they used to. Your energy runs out faster. And sometimes, just getting out of your chair feels like a chore. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. For millions of Americans over 65, walking isn't just tiring, it can feel risky. Whether it's joint pain, fatigue, or limited mobility, the idea of just walk more can sound more like a burden than a solution. But here's the good news. You don't need to walk miles or hit the gym to take care of your heart. Today, I'll show you 5 simple, doctor-approved movements that you can do right at home. Seated, safe, and stress-free. These aren't complicated exercises. They're gentle routines that help boost circulation, support your heart, and bring back the confidence that your body still has what it takes. So, before you feel like giving up on movement, give these a try. And if you find this helpful, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment to let me know you're here, and subscribe so you never miss another tip made just for you. Let's begin together. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. For years, Ronald used to be the kind of man who walked everywhere. To the corner store, down to the lake, through his neighborhood, just to say hello to the trees. But lately, that had changed. Now, at 78, even getting out of his recliner took more energy than it should. The swelling in his ankles had become a daily nuisance. His feet were always cold, his legs heavy like sandbags. And walking, that just wasn't in the cards anymore. His doctor told him the usual, "Try to move more, Ronald. Get your circulation going." But Ronald wanted to laugh. Move more? With joints that crackled and muscles that ached like old floorboards? It sounded impossible. Until one day, during a visit to a physical therapist, someone suggested something that changed everything. Seated leg pumps. At first, Ronald thought it sounded too simple to matter. Just lifting your heels and toes while sitting? That's it? But what he didn't realize was that this one small motion could do more for his heart and circulation than he ever imagined. So what exactly are seated leg pumps? Imagine you're sitting comfortably in a sturdy chair. Your back is straight, your feet flat on the ground. You begin by slowly raising your heels, keeping your toes pressed into the floor. You hold that position for a second or two, feeling the tightness in your calves. Then, you lower your heels and lift your toes instead, stretching the front of your shins. You repeat this motion again and again, up and down, like your feet are gently tapping along with an old song on the radio. It may not look like much, but don't let its simplicity fool you. This gentle movement mimics the same muscular action that happens when you walk. And it does so without putting any pressure on your knees, hips, or back, making it perfect for those who find standing or walking painful. But here's where it gets really interesting. It all comes down to the calves. You might be surprised to know that cardiologists often call the calf muscles the second heart of the body. Why? Because every time they contract, they help push blood upward against gravity toward the real heart. This process is known as venous return, and it's essential for maintaining healthy circulation. When we move our legs, those powerful calf muscles act like pumps, squeezing veins and preventing blood from pooling in the lower body. But when we sit for long periods without moving, something most of us do more than we like to admit, blood flow slows down and gravity takes over. That's when problems begin. Swollen ankles, cold feet, that tingling, restless leg feeling in the evening. And in some cases, more serious risks like deep vein thrombosis, dangerous blood clots that can form in the legs and travel to the lungs or heart. For seniors who spend hours in their recliners, at the kitchen table, or even in a car or on a plane, this can be a hidden threat. Seated leg pumps fight back against all of it. By simply moving the ankles and activating the calves, you can restart circulation and get the blood moving again, without even standing up. It's like giving your heart a little teammate to help carry the load. Ronald started doing them during commercial breaks while watching his favorite westerns. 20 repetitions each time a show paused for ads. It was easy, quiet, and didn't make him break a sweat. After 2 weeks, he noticed something had shifted. The swelling in his ankles had gone down. His legs didn't feel as cold anymore. And he had more energy, not just physically, but mentally. He felt useful again. I felt like I was finally part of my recovery, he later said. Not just waiting around for the next appointment or pill. And he's not alone. Seniors across the country are discovering that small, consistent movements like seated leg pumps can lead to big improvements in how they feel. From reducing foot and leg discomfort to helping prevent more serious issues, the benefits add up quickly. So, how often should you do them? The key is consistency, not intensity. Aim for short sessions throughout the day, just a minute or two at a time. Maybe after each meal, while talking on the phone, or during your morning coffee. Start with 10 to 15 minutes total per day. That might sound like a lot, but broken into tiny bits, it's entirely doable. And you don't need any fancy equipment. No weights, no gym clothes, no worrying about weather or traffic. Just a chair, your legs, and a willingness to move. Even better, this little habit isn't just helping your heart, it's helping your mind. For many older adults, the slow loss of mobility can chip away at confidence. You start to feel like you're not in control of your own body. Like you're just watching your health decline. But every time you move, even a little, it's like planting a flag in the ground and saying, I'm still here. I'm still trying. And that message, repeated daily, starts to reshape how you think about aging. You go from feeling helpless to hopeful, from passive to proactive. So if you're sitting right now, and chances are you are, why not give it a try? Just lift those heels. Now the toes. Back and forth. Like a quiet rhythm that reminds your body what it's still capable of. Remember, big changes don't always come from big actions. Sometimes they come from tiny, determined steps. Done consistently, done with care, and done with belief. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. And for Ronald, and so many others like him, those seated leg pumps were the first real step back toward living fully again. So, how do you do a seated leg pump? It couldn't be simpler, and that's the beauty of it. You don't need sneakers, a yoga mat, or even extra space. Just a sturdy chair, a few quiet moments, and your own 2 feet. Start by sitting upright in a supportive chair. Make sure your back is straight, your shoulders relaxed, and both feet are planted flat on the floor. From there, lift your heels slowly, keeping your toes on the ground. You'll feel your calf muscles gently engage, like they're giving a quiet squeeze. Hold that position for about 2 seconds, then lower your heels back down. Now, reverse it. Lift your toes off the floor while keeping your heels grounded. This time, you'll feel the front of your legs, near your shins, doing the work. Hold that for another couple of seconds, then bring your toes back down. That's 1 full repetition. Repeat this up and down movement for 10 to 20 reps, nice and slow. No need to rush. Let your body guide the pace. You can do this while watching TV, talking on the phone, or even while sipping your morning coffee. The goal isn't to sweat or strain, it's to create a consistent rhythm that supports your blood flow and heart function without putting stress on your joints. And while the physical benefits are impressive, the emotional ones might be even more powerful. Because the truth is, losing mobility doesn't just affect your body, it affects your spirit. For many seniors, not being able to walk like they used to brings a quiet sense of grief. There's a frustration, even shame, in relying on a cane or needing help for simple tasks. Over time, that can erode confidence, can make you feel invisible. But when you discover a movement that you can do, something that makes your body feel responsive and capable again, it changes everything. That's what seated leg pumps offer. They're not just exercises. They're little victories. Each pump is like a handshake between you and your health, saying, "We're still in this together." And no one understood that better than Ronald. When we first met Ronald, he had already been through a lot. He was a retired mechanic from Ohio who lost his wife 3 years earlier and had since moved into a small senior apartment on the edge of town. Most days, he'd sit by the window, watching birds, occasionally flipping channels on the TV, but rarely leaving the house. He had trouble with dizziness, and his legs constantly felt swollen. His doctor told him his blood wasn't circulating the way it should. "Try to walk more," they said. But for Ronald, walking even 10 steps meant holding onto the walls for balance. So he did what many do. He stopped trying. Then, during a checkup, a kind-hearted physical therapist showed him how to do seated leg pumps. At first, he rolled his eyes. This isn't going to fix anything, he thought. But he agreed to try it, 20 reps every hour, just while watching TV. No pressure. No big promises. 2 weeks later, something shifted. The swelling in his ankles had gone down. His feet didn't feel so icy. He could stand a little longer, walk to the mailbox without stopping. More than that, his attitude changed. He started brushing his hair again before leaving the apartment. Started calling his daughter more. Started caring again. "I felt like I was part of the solution," he told us. "Like I was doing something for me, not just taking pills and waiting for things to get worse." That sense of ownership over your body, your health, your future, that's what seated leg pumps can bring. They're a reminder that you don't have to give up just because the road looks different now. There's still movement left in you. Still strong. Still pride. And sometimes, all it takes to remember that is the simple act of lifting your heel. Margaret had always been strong in her quiet way. She raised 4 kids, cared for a husband through illness, and kept a tidy home where something warm was always on the stove. But at 82, after a recent fall in the kitchen, she found herself afraid to move. Just standing at the sink felt like a risk. Her daughter kept saying, "Mom, you've got to stay active. You'll lose your strength if you don't." But the fear wouldn't let go. That changed the day her doctor gently suggested wall push-ups. Not the kind of push-ups you might imagine from gym class or the military. Not the ones that leave your shoulders trembling and your knees sore. These were simpler, safer, and surprisingly empowering. Wall push-ups are exactly what they sound like, a modified version of the traditional push-up, done by leaning against a sturdy wall rather than the floor. They require no equipment, no special clothes, and no bending down to the ground. For seniors who've had falls, joint pain, or simply feel unsure of their footing, this small shift makes a world of difference. You stand a few feet away from the wall, feet shoulder-width apart, and place your palms flat against the surface at shoulder height. With slow, steady control, you bend your elbows and lean in, bringing your chest closer to the wall, then push back to your original position. It's a gentle, fluid motion. Nothing jerky or jarring. Just your body remembering how to support itself. But don't let its gentleness fool you. Wall push-ups engage some of the most important muscles in your body. Your chest, pectorals, your shoulders, deltoids, your upper arms, triceps and biceps, and your core all activate during this movement. It's like waking up a team of helpers. Muscles that tend to weaken over time when we don't challenge them. For seniors, especially, these muscle groups do more than just make us feel strong. They're vital for daily tasks, lifting a grocery bag, pulling open a door, or catching yourself if you stumble. Strengthening them supports not just function, but confidence. And the benefits go even deeper, right to the heart. When you engage large muscle groups with rhythmic motion, your circulation improves. More blood gets pumped through your system, delivering oxygen to your tissues more efficiently. That means your heart doesn't have to work quite so hard, and your lungs start to breathe a little deeper, more fully. Over time, this helps improve endurance, stabilize blood pressure, and even sharpen mental clarity. For someone like Margaret, who'd begun to feel tired just getting dressed in the morning, this was no small thing. Margaret started noticing something strange after just a week of doing wall push-ups against her kitchen counter. She could carry a pot of soup without both hands. She didn't feel quite so winded when walking from the living room to the front porch. But more than that, something shifted inside her. Her posture straightened. Her shoulders relaxed. She smiled more. "I thought my body had given up on me," she confessed one afternoon. "But it turns out it was just waiting for me to try again." That's the emotional power of this little movement. When you push gently against the wall, it's not just your arms doing the work. It's your whole nervous system responding. Your body says, "Oh, I remember this. I can move. I can grow stronger again." And the fear, the heaviness that creeps in when we stop believing in ourselves, it starts to melt away. Margaret began doing 5 wall push-ups every morning while waiting for her tea to steep. Just 5. But with each day, her strength grew. Within 3 weeks, she was doing 10 in the morning and another 10 before bed. She never once had to get down on the floor or strain herself. The progress came gently, quietly, like spring returning to an old tree. If you want to try wall push-ups at home, here's how to get started safely. Stand about 2 feet away from a wall. Your distance can vary depending on your height and comfort level. Closer makes it easier, farther adds a bit more challenge. Place your palms flat against the wall at shoulder height, fingers pointing upward. Keep your body in a straight line from head to heels. No bending at the hips. Slowly bend your elbows and lean forward, bringing your chest closer to the wall. Pause when you're a few inches away, then push yourself back to the starting position. Breathe steadily. Aim for 5 to 10 repetitions to start. You don't need to overdo it. This is about building consistency, not intensity. If you feel pain, especially in the wrists, shoulders, or chest, stop and check your form. And always talk to your doctor before starting any new movement if you have a heart condition or a history of injury. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. What's so remarkable about wall push-ups is how they restore a sense of control. For seniors, aging can sometimes feel like a long list of no's. No more climbing ladders. No more running. No more this, no more that. But with wall push-ups, the message flips. Yes, you can. Yes, you can move. Yes, you can build strength. Yes, you can support your heart, your lungs, your life. Margaret once told her granddaughter something beautiful. "I used to feel like I was standing behind a glass wall, just watching life go by. Now, I'm leaning into it again." Literally. That's the quiet revolution of this simple motion. Each push is more than an exercise. It's a declaration. A way to say, "I'm still here. I still matter. My body may be older, but it's not finished." And for many seniors across the country, that shift in mindset is where true healing begins. So the next time you're near a wall, maybe in the kitchen, the hallway, or even at church, pause for a moment. Place your hands gently on the surface. Take a breath. Push in and push back. That's you, choosing to stay strong. 1 rep at a time. For most of his 70s, George had lived quietly. A widower in a quiet Michigan neighborhood, he filled his days with old westerns, crossword puzzles, and trips between the recliner and the kitchen. He rarely left the house unless he had to, and even then, he moved slowly. His legs heavy, swollen at the ankles, often cold to the touch. He chalked it up to aging, just another piece of the puzzle that didn't quite fit the way it used to. But what George didn't realize was that his inactivity, those long hours of sitting without movement, was quietly putting his health at risk. Many seniors face the same reality. When our bodies become more still, circulation begins to suffer. Without regular muscle movement, blood tends to pool in the lower legs, leading to swelling, discomfort, and fatigue. It's not just unpleasant, it can also be dangerous. Poor circulation increases the risk of blood clots, varicose veins, and even serious conditions like deep vein thrombosis. For George, it meant that walking to the mailbox became a chore. His legs felt like sandbags. His energy drained quickly. And worst of all, it made him feel helpless, like life was shrinking around him. That's when a neighbor, a retired nurse named Linda, stopped by with a suggestion that changed everything. She showed George how to do a simple movement, seated leg lifts, right from his favorite chair. No equipment, no heavy lifting, no need to get up. Just a subtle, rhythmic motion that could breathe life back into tired legs. The exercise was simple. George sat upright in his chair, with both feet flat on the ground and his hands resting gently on the sides of the seat. Then, he slowly raised one leg forward, keeping it straight, holding it for a couple of seconds, and lowering it back down with control. He alternated legs, repeating the process for 10 to 15 reps on each side. No pain, no rush, just steady movement. What made this exercise so effective was the group of muscles it quietly activated. The quadriceps, the hamstrings, the calves, and even the hip flexors. These muscle groups aren't just about strength, they help pump blood back up toward the heart. When they contract, they act like a second heart, pushing blood against gravity and reducing the load on the cardiovascular system. Within a week of starting, George began noticing small changes. His ankles weren't as swollen. His legs felt warmer. And for the first time in months, he didn't feel out of breath just standing up from his recliner. Encouraged, he kept going. He started doing 2 or 3 sets a day, often during commercial breaks while watching Gunsmoke. But the transformation wasn't just physical. As the swelling went down and his stamina returned, George began to feel something deeper: control, purpose. That nagging sense of waiting for the next pill, the next ache, the next long day to pass, started to fade. He wasn't just enduring anymore. He was participating in his health, doing something simple yet meaningful for his body. I didn't realize how much I'd given up on myself, he later said. But every time I lifted my leg, it felt like I was lifting something else too: my spirit. That's the real magic of seated leg lifts. Yes, they help with blood flow and muscle tone. Yes, they ease discomfort in the legs and reduce the risk of serious conditions. But even more importantly, they give people their dignity back. They prove that you don't need to go to a gym or break a sweat to improve your health. You just need to start, right where you are. Performing seated leg lifts is safe for almost everyone, especially if you begin gradually. Start by doing one leg at a time, lifting just a few inches off the ground, and holding for 1 to 2 seconds. As you grow more comfortable, you can increase the hold to 5 seconds or lift the leg a little higher. Don't lock your knee, keep it soft, and move with control, not momentum. Repeat 10 to 15 times per leg, aiming for 2 to 3 sets a day. You can do it while chatting on the phone, watching a game, or waiting for your toast to pop up. And if you'd like to add a variation, try lifting both legs at the same time for a challenge, or hold your leg up while writing your name in the air with your foot. It engages more muscles and adds a playful twist to your routine. What surprised George the most was how this small routine trickled into other areas of his life. With more strength in his legs, he found it easier to climb the steps to his bedroom. He started cooking more, walking a little farther, and eventually joined a weekly lunch group for retirees at the local church, a place he hadn't visited since his wife passed. Leg lifts didn't just help him physically. They brought him back to life. And that's something many older adults need to hear. It's easy to believe the best years are behind you, that your body is slowing down for good. But your muscles still respond. Your heart still beats strong. And your spirit, it's waiting for that one small decision that says, I'm not done yet. Whether you're recovering from an illness, managing arthritis, or simply tired of feeling stuck, seated leg lifts are a gentle, powerful way to reconnect with your body. They require no schedule, no fanfare. Just you, your chair, and a willingness to try. So the next time you find yourself sinking into your recliner, ask yourself, what if I lifted instead of sank? What if I gave my legs and my life a little push upward? It might not feel like much at first, but just ask George. One lift at a time, it can change everything. Ellen never considered herself the active type. At 83, she preferred knitting scarves for her grandchildren over doing push-ups or taking long walks. After all, her knees had given her trouble for years, and the thought of jumping into a new exercise routine felt both exhausting and intimidating. But when her doctor gently warned her about rising blood pressure and the risks it posed to her heart, kidneys, and brain, something in her shifted. I don't want to spend my days just waiting on bad news, she said softly. I want to do something, even if it's small. That's when her daughter handed her a small yellow stress ball. At first, Ellen laughed. What's this going to do? Squeeze my problems away. But the truth was far more surprising, and far more powerful. You see, while exercises like walking or cycling often steal the spotlight, hand grip squeezes have quietly become a go-to tool in modern heart care. These small, controlled movements can create big cardiovascular results, especially for seniors who want something safe, simple, and effective they can do from a chair, couch, or even bed. The science behind it is compelling. When you squeeze and release an object like a softball, roll towel, or resistance ring, you activate the muscles in your hands and forearms. But you're also triggering something deeper, a vascular response that improves blood flow, strengthens arteries, and reduces systolic blood pressure, the top number in your reading, and one of the most important indicators of heart health. Medical studies, including those published in journals like Hypertension and the American Journal of Physiology, have shown that isometric hand grip exercises can lower systolic blood pressure by 5 to 10 millimeters of mercury in just a matter of weeks. That's a change as significant as some prescription medications, but without the side effects, the cost, or the long pharmacy lines. Best of all, it doesn't take long. Ellen began her new habit with something easy to remember. She would squeeze her yellow stress ball 3 times whenever she sat down, and 3 times again before standing up. That was it. She didn't time herself, she didn't log her reps, she just committed to the action. And slowly, she felt the shift. It became part of my rhythm, she said. Just like brushing my teeth or tying my shoes. It was something I did for myself. Her doctor, months later, was surprised to see her blood pressure had dropped, not by a fluke, but by a steady, measurable change. And Ellen felt the difference in her daily life. Carrying grocery bags was easier. Twisting open jars didn't leave her winded. Even her resting heart rate, once fluttery and irregular, felt calmer and more steady. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. What makes grip strength so interesting is that it's not just about hands. Doctors have begun to see it as a mirror of whole body health, a predictor of independence, coordination, and even longevity. In a major global study published in The Lancet, researchers found that stronger grip strength correlated with lower risks of death, particularly from heart disease. That's because the muscles in your hand are part of a much larger network. A strong grip often means strong arms, a healthy nervous system, and better balance. Things that help you get up from a chair, hold onto a railing, or catch yourself in a stumble. It's not just about strength, it's about confidence and resilience. Conversely, a weak grip can signal the onset of frailty, reduced mobility, or early signs of muscle loss. And once that decline begins, it often snowballs into further inactivity and dependence. But the beauty of hand grip squeezes is that they meet you where you are. You don't need to stand. You don't need to stretch. You don't even need to change your clothes. All you need is something soft to hold, and a few minutes of focus. Ellen found her comfort in that little yellow ball, but you could use a rolled-up dish towel, a tennis ball, or a foam grip trainer. The key is consistency. Start with 10 to 15 squeezes per hand, holding each squeeze for about 3 to 5 seconds. Do it once in the morning and again in the evening. That alone is enough to signal the body into strengthening circulation, activating the muscles, and calming the nervous system. You may not break a sweat. You might barely feel like you're exercising. But your heart will know. Your arteries will know. And perhaps most importantly, your sense of purpose will know. Because when Ellen sat in her chair, squeezing that small ball in her palm, she wasn't just lowering her blood pressure. She was reclaiming something that felt long gone, the belief that her actions still mattered. Aging, for many, feels like a slow process of letting go. Letting go of speed, of strength, of routines, of freedom. But hand grip squeezes offer the opposite message. They are about holding on, literally and figuratively. Holding on to vitality, to agency, to the idea that no matter your age, you can still shape your health one motion at a time. Ellen put it best when she said, "It's like my heart and I are working together again. We're on the same page." That's the emotional power behind these tiny movements. They may not look like much, but they represent something huge. The ability to choose wellness, even in the smallest way, every single day. So if you're reading this while sitting in your favorite armchair, ask yourself, what could happen if you picked up a towel, a tennis ball, or a foam ring and gave it a gentle squeeze? What if, like Ellen, you didn't wait for change? You created it with your own 2 hands. Harold sat by his window every morning, watching the sun stretch across his front yard. He had once been a high school history teacher, standing tall in front of chalkboards, full of energy and purpose. But after a minor stroke at 78, Harold's world shrank. The short walk to his mailbox felt like a journey across mountains. His legs, once sturdy and reliable, had become a source of fear, heavy, unstable, and foreign. He didn't want to live like that, just surviving, just waiting. What changed things for Harold wasn't some high-tech rehab machine or a trip to the gym. It was a simple motion, a quiet ritual performed while sipping coffee at the kitchen table. Seated leg raises. You might not think much of them at first. After all, what could lifting your leg a few inches while sitting in a chair do? But that's the magic of them. They're low impact, incredibly simple, and surprisingly powerful. For older adults, especially those with limited mobility or recovering from events like Harold's stroke, seated leg raises offer a safe and effective way to rebuild strength, circulation, and confidence. As we age, long periods of sitting become more common. Whether it's reading the morning paper, watching television, or simply resting between chores, our legs spend a lot of time still. But stillness has a cost. When we sit for too long, blood begins to pool in the legs. This puts extra strain on the heart, increases swelling in the feet and ankles, and raises the risk of dangerous conditions like deep vein thrombosis, DVT, a silent threat that can lead to blood clots and other serious complications. Seated leg raises are designed to fight back against that. They engage key muscle groups, the quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, and hip flexors, that act like natural pumps, helping move blood upward toward the heart. By gently activating these muscles throughout the day, you encourage better circulation and help your cardiovascular system do its job with less strain. And the best part? You don't need any equipment. No weights. No resistance bands. No getting down on the floor. To do a seated leg raise, all you need is a sturdy chair and a bit of focus. Sit up tall, feet flat on the floor. Slowly lift one leg in front of you, keeping it straight but not locked. Hold it for 3 to 5 seconds, then lower it down gently. Switch legs and repeat. Start with 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions per leg, adjusting to your comfort and energy level. You can even do them during commercial breaks, while chatting on the phone, or as part of your morning routine. Harold started slowly. Just 5 raises per leg each morning, gripping the sides of his kitchen chair for support. He didn't expect miracles, but he did feel something shift. Within a couple of weeks, his legs felt less heavy, his feet warmer, and the swelling in his ankles began to ease. But beyond the physical changes, something deeper began to awaken in him. He started walking to the mailbox again, steadier this time. Then came the short trip to the end of the block. It wasn't just about movement, Harold said. It was about proving to myself that I wasn't done. Because that's what these movements give: freedom. The freedom to move through your own home without fear of falling. The freedom to walk to the kitchen or bathroom without needing help. The freedom to trust your own body again. For seniors, especially those recovering from illness or injury, that freedom is everything. It means more than just health. It means dignity. And dignity is hard to reclaim once it's been shaken. Seated leg raises restore more than just blood flow. They rebuild belief. Every lift says, "I still can." Every rep is a reminder that even when the world slows down, you don't have to stop moving. That's the emotional weight behind this deceptively simple exercise. And Harold? He stuck with it. Day by day, inch by inch, he took back control. His legs grew stronger. His balance improved. He even felt more optimistic. For the first time in a long while, he shared, I felt like I was walking toward something, not just away from what I'd lost. That's what seated leg raises can do. They're not flashy. They won't make headlines. But they will help you get up from your favorite chair with less effort. They'll help you step over the front door threshold without hesitation. They'll help you believe in your strength again. So, whether you're recovering from an injury, struggling with circulation, or simply want to stay independent for as long as possible, this small, quiet movement might just be the key. It's not about lifting your leg. It's about lifting your spirit. And that, in itself, is an act of resilience. You don't need to run a marathon to protect your heart. You don't need to join a gym to feel strong again. All it takes is a chair, a little consistency, and the decision to try. Day by day. Leg by leg. Step by step. Like Harold, you might be surprised by where it takes you. As the sun dips lower and the day draws to a close, let's take a quiet moment to reflect on what we've learned together. You don't need to lace up your sneakers or step outside your front door to care for your heart. Right there in the comfort of your living room, you now have 5 simple yet powerful tools that can make all the difference. Seated leg pumps, wall push-ups, seated leg lifts, hand grip squeezes, and seated leg raises. Each one is gentle, easy to do, and backed by real results, helping you improve circulation, build strength, and regain a sense of control over your health. You've heard the story of Harold, Margaret, George, Ellen, and Ronald, each one choosing to show up for themselves in small but mighty ways. And now it's your turn. So let me ask you, which of these 5 movements are you most excited to try first? Is there one you can see yourself doing during a TV break? While waiting for your coffee to brew? Maybe right now, as you sit and listen? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Scroll down and share your answer in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, please tap that like button. It truly helps this message reach more folks like you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss another story or tip that might brighten your day. You've taken the first step today, and that's something to be proud of. Let's keep moving forward, together.